Hello everyone, I'm Chair RN. Before we proceed to our new lesson, do not forget to subscribe, like, and click the notification bell. Thank you so much.
Our lesson for today's video is variation, wherein we tackle joint and combined variation. Let's start our discussion in joint variation. Joint variation when a quantity varies directly as the product of two or more other quantities. For example, we have if Z varies jointly with X and Y, we have the mathematical equation Z is equal to KXY. Let us have example of joint variation. The variable Z varies jointly with X and Y. Also, Z is equal to negative 75 when X is equal to 3 and Y is equal to negative 5. Write an equation that relates X, Y, and Z. Then, find Z when X equals 2 and Y equals 6. So, let us have a solution. So, step 1. We will write a general joint variation equation. So we have, using Z varies jointly with X and Y, the equation is Z is equal to KXY. Then we have step 2. For step 2, let us use the given values of Z, X, and Y to find the constant of variation or K. So we have Z is equal to negative 75. When X equals 3 and Y is equal to negative 5. So we have substitute the value of Z. So we have Z is negative 75. Then we have X is equal to 3 and then Y is equal to 5. Using Z is equal to KXY, we will solve for the value of K or the constant of variation. So now, the equation is negative 75 is equal to K times 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. Then after that, let us divide the both sides of the equation by negative 15. Then we will cancel the negative sign. Then we have 75 divided by 15. The answer is 5. So, the constant of variation is K is equal to 5. Now, using K is equal to 5, let us move on to step number 3. For step number 3, let us rewrite the joint variation equation with the value of K from step 2. So, using Z is equal to XY, so let us substitute the value of K, which is 5. So we have Z is equal to 5XY. Then for step 4, let us solve for the unknown. Let us calculate Z when X equals 2 and Y equals 6 using the substitution. Let us substitute the value of X and Y. Use Z is equal to 5XY. So we have Z is equal to 5XY. Then using X, we have X is equal to 2. Then Y is equal to 6. Then let us multiply 5 times 2 times 6. So the product is 60. So the final answer is 60 when X equals 2 and Y equals 6. This is the final answer. And this is an example of joint variation. Let us continue our discussion about combined variation. Combined variation is a kind of variation that involves both direct and inverse variation. So we have the combination of the two, the direct and inverse variation. So for number 1, we have Y varies directly as X and inversely as Z. So let us write the mathematical equation for that. So we have y is equal to kx over z. For the second one, number 2, we have y varies directly as the square of x and inversely as z. So we have here square. So we will write the exponent 2 here. So we have y is equal to kx squared all over z. That is the mathematical equation. Next, for number 3, we have y varies jointly as x and z and inversely as t. This is the combination of joint variation and inverse variation. So the mathematical equation is y equals kxz all over t. For number 4, we have y varies jointly as the square of xz and inversely as t. Again, this is the combination of joint variation and inverse variation. So the mathematical equation is y is equal to kx squared z squared all over t. So we have here square of xz. So we have x squared, this one, and then we have the z squared. So k is the constant of variation, so we have to write k in all mathematical equation. Let us have an example. So we have if p varies directly as the square of q and inversely as the square root of r, and p equals 60 when q equals 6 and r equals 81, find p when q is equal to 8 and r is equal to 144. So as you can see in our example, we have varies directly as the square of q. Then we have inversely as the square root of r. So let us write the mathematical equation of this mathematical statement. So we have, for step 1, we have p is equal to k, which is the constant of variation. Then we have q squared because we have square of q. And then all over square root of r. So we have here square root of r. So we have this one. Okay, and that is the mathematical equation for step 1. And then let us proceed to step 2. For step 2, we have to substitute the first set. So we have this one, p equals 60, then q is equal to 6, r is equal to 81. Let us substitute the value of p here. So we have 60. After that, we write k, and then the value of q is 6. Then do not forget to write the exponent 2. So we have 6 squared. And then the value of r, which is 81. Then do not forget to write the square root sign or the radical sign. So we have 60 is equal to k, parenthesis 6 squared all over square root of 81. Then let us simplify the result. So we write 60, then 6 squared is 36, because 6 times 6 is 36. Then square root of 81 is 9. So this is now the new equation. Again, cross multiply. So we have k times 36 is 36k.
And then 60 times 9 is 540.
So this is now the equation. Then let us divide this equation by 36 to be able to get the value of our k. So we have 36k divide 36. So we have k, and then we have 540 divide 36 is 15. So the value of our k now is 15. Then using the mathematical equation, p is equal to k, this one, p is equal to k, q squared all over square root of r. Let us substitute the value of k, which is 15. So the new equation is P is equal to 15Q squared all over square root of R. Then let us find the missing. So the missing is P. So let us find P. When Q is equal to 8, then R is equal to 144. So let us change or substitute rather the Q. So Q is equal to 8. Then do not forget again to write the exponent 2 because we have 8 squared. And then the value of R is 144. Then let us simplify the result. So we have 15 times 64 because 8 times 8 is 64. Then square root of 144 is 12. So again, simplify the result. We have 15 times 64 is 960 while we write 12. Then divide 960 divided by 12. The answer is P is equal to 80. So the value of P is 80 when Q is equal to 8 and R is equal to 144.
And that's all for today. Keep safe and God bless. Thank you.